Let's talk about Super Bowls, MVPs, and Miami Dolphins' future. Welcome to Dolphin Nation, and hello YouTube. This is Finn's Temporal Focus, affectionately known as PTF, and I'm going to be your host, Chris Prophet, taking you through the Super Bowl that was an absolute butt whooping. Absolute butt whooping put on the Kansas City Chiefs by the Eagles. And hey, hats off to the Eagles. Congratulations. And I mean, it really wasn't even close. Patrick Mahomes had happy feet all day long. And the fact that they pressured him all day with their front four. That's it. Their front four. Up until about, they blitzed one time. Now, I've seen so many people say they did not blitz one time. Okay, in the game I watched, toward the end, there was one blitz. Then they knocked Patrick down at that point. He did complete that pass, however, but there was a blitz. Go back and watch. There was at least one blitz that I know of. But besides that, again, congratulations. And the main thing is the defense won this ball game, hands down. And MVP, again, we just done a video not too long ago how the MVP for the league is so watered down. It's so quarterback driven. And Jalen Hurts played his butt off. No question about it. He was 17 of 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the one pick that was basically just a punt. Did not matter whatsoever. And he also rushed for 72 yards. And then, of course, the tush push. Which I kind of thought Kansas City might have an answer for the tush push. I was wrong. No answer whatsoever. And the interesting thing, though, is, again, we're talking about MVP. Jalen Hurts, absolutely the offensive MVP. But we've talked about this. It's called the eye test. Using your eyes. And to me, MVP is the controlling of the game. The person that has dominated the game. And the Eagles' defense dominated this game. And I don't understand, to me, either Josh Sweat at 2.5 sacks or Milton Williams, who had 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Give them co-MVPs. You've done it in the past. Now, granted, it's been 35 years, maybe 40 years since that's actually happened. It was Bob Lilly and leave a comment if you know the other one. It was the Dallas Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl 5. And they were on the losing team. And that is my point. The only other person that's even got stats that's worth mentioning was Xavier Worthy, who had 8 catches for 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Eagles didn't really have an answer late. And at that point, the Eagles didn't care. Let Xavier Worthy do whatever he wanted to do because the game was done. The game was over. Kansas City was kaput. But my point is back to the MVPs. Stop with the quarterback-driven league because there is no way a defensive player for the Eagles should not have gotten MVP. Jalen Hurts, absolutely offensive MVP. But this game was controlled and destroyed by the Philadelphia Eagles defense across the board. Kansas City had no answer whatsoever. And just an absolute beating that the Eagles put on them. And I'm hoping from this the Dolphins can get a clue. Okay? We have got to have offensive line help. Armstead, we're not sure. Obviously, he may retire. I really, after the Jets game, watching him in that second Jets game, he was so emotional, and I really thought maybe that was his point of when he may realize, hey, my body can't handle this anymore. Patrick Paul done okay. And we have Brewer, we have Jackson. I think Jackson will come back and he'll be doing good. But we have to build the trenches. This game was won in the trenches. The offensive line played well. The defensive line played amazing. I mean, we have Zach Sealer. We're not going to have Calarius Campbell, excuse me, but I don't think he'll be back. And he played his butt. I think he was the most valuable player for us this past year. Calais Campbell was absolutely amazing, but we have to get. We're obviously we've got to get back end help. Poyer needs to go. Obviously, we still have Fuller and Ramsey if they can stay healthy. I don't know about Ramsey just because of his contract. Javon Holland, they're not going to re-sign him. It's pretty much in the cards. And he didn't have a good year. He basically bet on himself this past year. And there was just times that Javon Holland just seemed like maybe it was the defensive formations, the way they were playing it at the time. But he just did not seem like he wanted to shoot the gap the way that he did in years prior. Of course, didn't have an interception and just wasn't the tackling machine that I had seen in earlier years. And maybe he was making a business decision, knowing that he was playing on his final year of his contract. I don't know. I know Javon has played better. And maybe that business decision is what it came down to. But definitely was not shooting the gap like he was in prior years. So my point is, hopefully Greer and McDaniel can open their eyes a little bit and stop with the, hey, you're worried about the offensive line more than we are. Maybe it's time you should worry about the offensive line because we suck. Our offensive line is horrible. We were below, there's only 32 teams. We were below 32 in our rankings in time to throw the football. You got to get some offensive line help. And I don't care, sign somebody and draft somebody. We've got the 13th pick overall. So hopefully they can pick up a guard. And we do need some back end help. And then Zach Sealer you got to get him some help on the defensive line. He's been solid. I think last year proved quite a bit that he was better than what people thought when we lost Wilkins, Salt and Pepper, and Sealer played his butt off as well. He was amazing. So we've got to get him a little help, a little strength in that defensive line. But all I'm saying is Philadelphia did it right. They did it right, and they're doing it very well. They have it on the front end, they have it on the back end, and if somebody gets hurt, God forbid, they have some people that can step up. We don't. We've put all of our eggs in one basket on our front end, and we have nobody that can come in and be next man up. Our next man up is a high school kid, basically. It's embarrassing. So I'm just point out there, main 2 points of the day. Eye test. Jalen Hurts, you were amazing. You were the best offensive player on the field. You were not the MVP. Sweat or Williams or both. To me, it should have been co-MVPs, Sweat and Williams. because that defensive line won this ball game. Hands down, not even close. And hopefully, Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, take some notes. Build the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line. Yes, we need some help on the back end on our defense, on some safety. We definitely need to redo the safety situation. But in general, offensive line, defensive line, please, for the love of everything, Chris Greer, wake up and understand that Super Bowls, championships, won in the trenches. Anyway, if you agree with me, great. If you don't agree with me, leave a comment. Tell me why you don't agree with me. And we'll try to discuss it. And maybe I can tell you why you're wrong. I'm joking. But seriously, just leave a comment. Guys, have a great day. And make good decisions. And fins up.